Hello everybody, this is my tribute to Robin Williams. To me, one of the most prolific actors in history. And obviously he left such an impact on everyone that followed him. He was just somebody that if you didn't know him, you know, you still could tell he was a genuine person with everything he did, you know. And I think all of us that followed his movies had a piece of our childhood, you know, integrated into, you know, things that we remember as a child. Like for me, I definitely remember a lot of the different movies he had done, you know, and a lot of them I'd watched growing up. So, but anyway, this is just the beginning of my tribute. Hello everybody, this is the second part of my Robin Williams tribute video. And as we go further into this, I do want to touch on a couple movies that he had done that I found as, you know, personal favorites. As you can see, one of the quotes he had said in his life was, "I used to think the worst thing in life was to end up all alone." It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people that make you feel all alone. Which is, you know, it's such a sweet thing for somebody to actually come out and just reflect on life and experiences he's been through. And to really just put some things into perspective on his own, you know, life experiences. But to me, I find that to be a great quote. And he was, you know, he was just an influence on so many people. And it's really sad to see where, you know, people seem to forget what an inspiration he was for so many people, not just in the movie industry, but just people who struggle through life, and you know, people that encounter things that are, you know, obviously difficult to deal with. And, you know, he was just somebody that you could watch and just kind of get away from that. But, so the first movie I want to touch on is Patch Adams, which is a movie I'd seen a couple months ago. And, you know, I went into it with an open mind because a lot of people had said it wasn't a good movie. And I kind of wanted to just, you know, go off my own opinion on what I thought. I thought it was a great movie. I felt that it was a very touching movie. It showed that the character he portrayed, it was based off actually a true story. You know, he tried so much to help people that couldn't afford healthcare, especially in the States. And, you know, it was a very good movie. If I was to give it, you know, a rating out of 5, I would have given it probably about a 3.5. So that's, you know, that's Patch Adams. So now the next movie I want to touch on isn't Father's Day. Popeye was actually his first theatrical movie. Now, for me, I didn't mind Popeye. I thought it was okay. I felt like, you know, it isn't one of his better movies, you know, but it is something that showed his comedic timing. As an actor, you know, he definitely was well known as a comedian before he did this movie, because he had starred on Happy Days and in the TV show Mork and Mindy. So his character obviously had a very, you know, humorous side to him. And Popeye really, it showed the characteristics of the character Popeye, which I felt was great. It really hit it bang on, I thought. If I was to give it a rating out of 5, though, Popeye, I'd give it probably about a 2.5 out of 5. Not my favorite Robin Williams movie, but that's okay. And then the next one here that's a still from Mrs. Doubtfire. Now, to me, that was a movie that really helped reinvent his career, because he was going through a bit of a slump in the early 90s in terms of his direction with what movies he was picking. But Mrs. Doubtfire was definitely, I think anybody who, you know, obviously anyone that's had a family life and can, you know, relate to the stresses of not being in a marriage that works, you can see that, you know, he put so much into the character. And I think he had a lot of personal experiences too, because he ran into some divorce problems here and there. I think he was married about 3 times, but it just showed a very different side of him in terms of his ability to really branch out and do, you know, like a lot of serious dramatic acting. So if I was to give us a rating for Mrs. Doubtfire out of 5, I probably would give it about a 4, you know, a good solid 4. But that's my second part for the Robin Williams tribute. I will be back shortly with the third part. Okay, so our next movie here on the Robin Williams tribute video here is Good Morning Vietnam. And for me, this is one of his better movies, in my opinion, because it touched on such a, troubling time in the world when, it was the mid 80s, and you know, it was maybe about a decade after Vietnam, so things are still pretty fresh, especially, you know, in what the view of, you know, what war was actually meant for at that time in the world. And, you know, his portrayal of the character in the movie is just so awesome because, you know, he doesn't shy away from like a lot of the political, I guess, problems with the world at that time. And he was able to just, you know, use his humor to really bring a lighter side to what was going on in the world. And, you know, I think it's a great movie. It's definitely one of his better dramatic roles, I would say. So if I was to give Good Morning Vietnam a rating out of 5, I would probably give it a solid 4.5 for sure. That's another one of my favorites from Robin Williams. And then our next movie here we're going to go on is Good Will Hunting. And to me, Good Will Hunting is such a great movie as well. Because he plays, you know, the role where he is just, you know, he's been, you know, down the same path as Matt Damon's character has in the movie. He sees somebody who's, you know, young and upset with, you know, where he is with his own life, referring to Goodwill, or Will Hunting, I should say. But, you know, he just plays such, like, a great role as a mentor and as somebody that, you know, Matt Damon's character can really learn from. And, you know, he shows a lot of emotion in this role. And to me, I think, I can't remember if he was nominated for Best Actor, or if he had won it. I know he was nominated, but I can't remember if he had won. But yeah, definitely a great movie. And if I was to give it a rating out of 5, I'd probably give it a good 4.5. Aladdin was good, but I'm not going to touch on that movie. We're going to go to Hook next. Okay, so with Hook, I mean, this is just a movie that is synonymous with a lot of people's childhood. I mean, if you haven't seen it, it is a great movie. It's not his best movie, but I also like the fact that Dustin Hoffman does such a great job as Captain Hook. And the late, great Bob Hoskins plays, you know, I can't remember the character's name, but he's very good in it as well. It's a well-rounded cast, a lot of good actors. And, you know, it's just a great movie. If you were ever a fan of Peter Pan or anything to do with the, you know, Peter Pan universe, Hook is definitely a great movie to watch. And, you know, I would give it a solid 4 out of 5. And that is the end of my tribute video for Robin Williams. I hope you enjoyed it. He was definitely somebody that I'll always, you know, enjoy watching in terms of what he brought, in terms of, you know, his roles in movie and television. The world really lost a great man when he passed away, and it's something that, you know, a lot of people felt, the emotional impact of that. So just letting you guys know now that I will be doing more movie reviews, and I'm going to try to do about 3 or 4 a week, and my plan is to, like, you know, keep up to date with, you know, newer movies, a lot of older movies too. My preference are horror and comedies, so you'll find that I'll do a lot of, like, you know, top 5, top 10 movies in terms of, like, you know, a certain franchise or genre. But I will be doing a lot of movie reviews, and I'm going to make it a big part of the channel. But this is Wharf26, and I hope you enjoyed the video.